Hi, seventh graders. I am creating this video if you are feeling confused about your social stress project and you just want some more guidance other than what we've been talking about in class. Hopefully this video will clear some of that up for you. So to give you the purpose of doing this project, you took a survey in class that had to do with what are the things that socially stress seventh graders out at school. Stress can come in a lot of forms, but we're talking about the type of stress when you're interacting with your peers at school. And two of the main responses people had is worrying about how they appear to others and then worrying about people picking on them. So in response to that, seventh graders are to be creating a project that would send the message of looking out for other people. Not necessarily that you have to stand up to somebody who's being mean, though I would encourage you to do that if you feel comfortable doing that, but more that you surround the people that you can tell that they're socially stressed out. So your project should create a message that encourages others to be compassionate, which means caring and nice. Socially mature, which means that they can recognize a situation. They're mature enough to recognize a situation where somebody is being brought down by someone who is socially immature. So a socially immature person may not realize that them saying something about somebody's shoes or their outfit or their family, they might not realize that they're actually hurting the feelings of the person that they're talking to. A socially mature person would be able to recognize that person and step in and say, hey, I realize that you're being picked on. I'm going to come and be your friend for a moment and help out. So in your project, you need to have a real issue. Whatever you make your story or example about, it has to be a real issue that socially stresses people out at our school. So the things that have been brought to our attention. There has to be a sort of ignorant to the obvious, meaning the person that is picking on other people, they don't realize that they're being hurtful. That's our socially immature person. There has to be a mature, socially mature person who sort of acts as the bystander that sees what's going on and they go in to offer some kind of relief or help. And a lot of times that help is just stepping in and maybe being kind to the person that was just being picked on or even taking them away from the situation. And then your final set of points will come from your creativity. So your project should be creative and it should motivate someone to be socially mature. It should open the eyes of people to look for these opportunities to step in and be helpful to someone. A really simple example is somebody who maybe you notice sits alone often, and you can only imagine that would stress you out if that was you. So while some people like to sit alone, a socially mature person might walk up to that person and say, would you mind if I sit with you today, and talk to that person. Again, you have the maturity to look at that situation and think, I'm going to step in and try to help. So here's a story example. If you want to just do something short and sweet to get your grade, writing a story is a great way. So here's our middle school story. There's a big group chat happening on Snapchat. All the popular kids are in it. Billy wants to join the group chat, so he asked the leader of the group, and they start laughing, and they said that he can't be in it because he isn't popular. Billy went to the bathroom and cried and cried and cried. Then out of the blue, the most popular boy named Joe heard him. He walked in and he started saying nice things about him. And then he finally said, I will add you after school. Don't listen to them. They are just mean and stuck up and too self-centered. And so what that's supposed to say, this is a real student example. Billy became best friends with Joe. So that's an example of somebody within a group recognizing my friends weren't very nice to that person and I'm going to go help. Here is an example of a comic strip. I'm not going to read this, but if you want to pause the video and zoom in, you can read through it. But same kind of scenario. Many of you also expressed that feeling left out is something that creates you social stress at school. So this story has to do with that. Here's another example of things that are happening over a phone. Which I know a lot of the social stress does happen from Snapchat or text messages going back and forth and other messaging motives that people use. So in this situation, somebody is going to step in and be helpful, okay? So at school the next day, somebody has stepped in and is going to be helpful. So those are a couple of examples. Whatever you want to create, it just has to be something that sheds light on this issue of, we have a lot of people walking around our school that feel like they're worried about how they look. They're worried about people picking on them. And by you doing this project, you're going to open people's eyes to opportunities to help other people who might be feeling put down or maybe aren't having the best of day. So if you need further help, please email me if you're working on this from home. And I hope that this video sort of refreshed what we were talking about in class. Thank you.